I want to contribute this, and I want to hear from James too. Sorry to be a hog here.
No,
But I will say, just like you're saying, AJ, I feel like from the beginning, I tried to set my son up with that normalization as well, and let him know that, for example, like my brother is queer and married to the same sex partner. And that was always, I mean, that is normal, but I always told my son that this is normal, and you've got two uncles, and then and not just with sexuality either, but like you're saying, with multiple different types of families. I'm not sure that we ever had any like polyamorous back then people that I knew to introduce him to. But as far as I understand, my kid's like super open. Totally. I remember the first time the bathroom bill was on NPR when I was taking him to school one day. This was years ago when that was happening. And I was to him and all the kids in the back seat, I was like, can we talk about this? Do you all know what it means to be transgender? And they were like, yeah. Like, who do you think we are? And they were like, there's like 2 trans kids in our class. This was like 5th grade. And I was like, what? Like, why are my kids so woke? With that being said, I'm in an open marriage, and also I don't use the word polyamory. I don't feel like it quite fits the dynamic, but from an outsider's perspective, it would look like I've been in polyamorous relationships. And when I explained that, told that to my son, maybe a year and a half ago, I said, how does that make you feel? And I thought he was going to be like, it's cool, I get it, whatever. But he was like, I don't know, I think that's kind of weird, Mom. And so I'm saying that to say that, like, I feel like it would be irresponsible to say, like, you can raise your kid perfect from the beginning and then they're going to be great, because they're still going to get outside influences and they're still going to have a mind of their own, which you want them to have. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Yeah.
Excellent perspective. Oh, please, AJ.
I was just kind of laughing because my family jokes that, like, we're so open-minded and progressive and things with our kiddo that they're going to rebel as a teenager and be like super conservative and be like, I really want to be a hedge fund manager for my job. And we're like, what? No.
The Alex P. Keaton effect, I think.
I love monogamy and hedge funds. And I'll be like, who are you? What have I done wrong?
Yeah.
Nothing against hedge funds. I literally don't know what they are. I just know that's like a term.
Well, you can ask your rebellious kid in about 10 years.
Yes, exactly.
James, we haven't heard from you in a bit. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm really glad you both went first, because I'm not a parent, and it's something I've thought a lot about over the years. It's something I've always wanted to do. I have a really close friend of mine, 2 close friends. They're a married lesbian couple, and we'd always talked about having kids together. That was years ago, and it's still on the table. But now that I'm thinking about, well, actually, I'm engaged to be married, and we talk a lot about what that would look like for us. It's just a really interesting, I guess, a different perspective from our end, because when we think about how we were both brought up, my partner and I, like, I didn't have parents that talked about sex openly. I remember, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I remember being the kid that stuck into my parents' room, and when they weren't at home, and I'm like, ooh, what are these VHS tapes? I'm like, ooh, I was like, oh, okay. And then what are these pictures? I found pictures of my stepfather's dick, and I'm like, okay, they get that big, okay. It was just a different thing. But where, growing up super, like, I'm a preacher's son, and my mom was Jehovah's Witness, and we went to church, and so, like, even getting caught masturbating was like, it was like I had to hide all of that, and so when you come out of that type of a childhood and they're thrust into the world is waiting to teach you a lot of things. For me, and not to go dark on this, I left home at 18 and I joined the military, and I was sexually assaulted by 19 while I was in the military. Going from that, from an environment where there's no gay bars to going into a fully fledged gay scene where parenting is non-existent for us because well, not non-existent, but just a lot harder for us, you know, with gay marriage laws at the time. And not to mention being a dad means a whole different thing for a lot of us from a kink spectrum, you know. um I guess a lot of the things that I find toxic, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of things about gay culture that have been toxic for me, and I think a lot of that comes from not having parents like you two to be able to normalize, you know, a conversation around sex, or like you, AJ, saying, hey, my kids, we're going by they them pronouns so that they can decide what bodies they're in and how they want to interact with the world. um I'm drawing inspiration from that because it's making me feel more comfortable about wanting to be a parent and not making my kid a gay kid or male or female, but just being, hey, you've got two dads, we're both queer, we both have sex, do you want to talk about sex? I want to be my kid's best friend. I want my kid to talk to me about when they're feeling sexual, or if they're wanting to date, or I want them to share that with me so that I can give them a strong foundation to build on. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that.